Welcome to CK Sports Talk on 99.1 CKXS. CK Sports Talk is brought to you in part by Canada Business Services, the Chatham-Kent Sports Network, and 99.1 CKXS.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to CK Sports Talk here on the Mighty XS. That's 99.1 on your radio dial. My name is Peter Cobb, and tonight I'm flying this ship by myself. My partner in crime is on assignment. Corey North, our producer, will be heading south to Ridgetown, that is hanging around here somewhere, probably playing parcheesi or trying some chips and dip. He's famous for that chips and dip. But we originally scheduled tonight, we were going to do our hockey promo show. We're going to do that probably in about 3 weeks' time now. We've got a few other things I'll discuss later, but it's going to be a mishmash of information. And since they've given me the mic, we're going to talk about some of my favorite teams and favorite things to do. But first off, last week we had Jamie Ireland in studio, and he was exceptional. I remember Jamie when he was a student and basketball player at D.A. Gordon, but he talked to us about refereeing and how difficult it is to assign referees, and you can imagine that when you put on a referee's sweater, not only do you want to try to manage the game, but you're trying to manage players, coaches, and certainly fans too, because 50% of the people agree with your call and 50% say no thank you. So Jamie Ireland, just exceptional, especially now that the senior teams, both junior and senior level, are playing with a shot clock. And that certainly speeds up the game, doesn't allow a team to go into a stall. And but again, then you need someone to run that shot clock, and that's another thing for those referees to kind of keep an eye on when it's being reset properly. So thank you, Jamie Ireland. I ran into your dad, who's the ice maker at the Sydenham Club. World Series next on my list. Back in at the All-Star break, Sean and I and my son-in-law, Cam McEwen, all put in some picks along with Sparky Leonard, and I don't want to sit here and boast, but I was the only one that said I think the Cleveland Indians are going to go to the World Series. In fact, I picked the Cleveland Indians to win the World Series, and when they were up 3-1, I thought to myself, now hold it. I may be on to something here, but it didn't work out that way. Kudos to Joe Madden and his patience with his lineup. They just seem they're a very streaky hitting club, and they got some bats going in games 5, 6, and 7. And you have to remember, 2 of those games were in Cleveland, and that game 7 will be a World Series game certainly to remember. And who would have thought that Rajai Davis, the former Blue Jay, the former Tiger, would be a guy that's trying to keep his team in the club. In fact, he drove in the final 3 runs for the Indians and sent it to extra innings. I was ready to go to bed. I thought the game was going to be over, but a rain delay and dramatic home runs and fireworks, and congratulations to the Cubs. I thought, Cody Ross, his tweet where he said, look at the guys got me for retirement, and had a picture of him with the World Series trophy. Our Tigers, I'm a big Tiger fan, along with the Wizard from Wallaceburg. We last won that trophy in '84. We've been to a World Series or 2 since then, but it didn't work out too well. I'm still reliving the glory days of 1968, actually, when my dad let me stay home from school when I was only in grade 5 so I could watch Game 5 of the World Series. So that was quite a time and quite a year. But anyhow, 108 years is put to rest. So congratulations to Coach Madden and Mr. Epstein and the rest of the Cubs organization for doing a tremendous job. You know what? One of the things that I love to do during the winter time is curl. And last week I got a text message from my boss, the golden voice of the Great Lakes, Mr. Greg Hetherington. He said, listen, I need a 4th for tonight, Tuesday night out here in Wallaceburg at the Sydenham Curling Club. I said, I'm in. And he promised me to buy me the beverage of my choice, so that made me double in, to be honest. So out I went, and we curled, and I'm going to tell you, we ran into a buzzsaw of a team. Randy McNeil, what a tremendous curler, but he was very kind to us. It was great to see Jane McGee. She curled on that team along with Deb Richardson, and they were just throwing darts. Every time our skip got into the hack, was looking at some very challenging shots. And it was really neat to see Tom McGee. I hadn't had a chat with him in years. I remember back in the days when I taught at W.T. Lang, home of the Crusaders, back here in Wallaceburg. Breaks my heart every time I drive by that school, but it was good to see Tom and renew some friendship and fellowship there. And I said, Tom, you listen to the show, you're getting a shout out. So there you go, bud. It's great to see you. And I'm going to make it out again to the Sydenham on a Tuesday night to fill in when the time comes. Curling. So, and I hope my wife, I don't know if she's listening tonight, but I hope she doesn't get upset at me because I have already gone online and booked a hotel room in Ottawa next December. I believe it's the 9th and 10th that I've booked. It's the Saturday night and Sunday night in Ottawa because that is the Tim Hortons Roar of the Rings. So some people who are non-curling fans are saying, good gracious, Roar of the Rings. Well, that's the tournament, literally, that would start on the Monday or Tuesday of that week and ends on that Sunday, where our great nation, the nation that can boast the greatest curlers on the face of the earth, decides which team will go through this Bonspiel method, a round-robin tournament. Who will represent our great country at the next Winter Olympics in 2018. So I got to tell you, I booked the room. I'm hoping to be in that arena. So, honey, if you're listening, I am sorry, but yeah, you can come too if you want. If not, I'm sure there's somebody out there that would love to come and watch the Roar of the Rings. So, curling out of the way, I am a huge Toronto Maple Leaf fan. I know there are a lot of Maple Leaf fans out there, and yes, we have suffered for many, many years. You know, we feel like the Chicago Cubs, even though it's been since 1967 when the Chief George Armstrong raised the trophy at Maple Leaf Gardens. It's been a long time, but they, I believe, are starting to take steps in the right direction. I love the enthusiasm and the youth on this club. You know, these young lines, goodness gracious, Zach Hyman, William Nylander, and Austin Matthews. Those three kids are, they're 22 years old and younger, and they are something to watch. The Van Riemsdyk, Bozak, Mitch Marner line, good gracious. Really exciting. And the game against the Vancouver Canucks the other night, I thought it was old fire wagon hockey because there were brawls where even Frederick Anderson skated the length of the ice to pull off Ryan Miller as he went after Matt Martin. It was really something. I guess the one downer was a little bit that we did get a chance to see Wallaceburg's Seth Griffith. I actually sent him a text message when I heard he got picked up by the Leafs, and I said, look, I look forward to you bringing the Stanley Cup into the studio for CK Sports Talk, and he replied, thanks. But he got in for a couple of games, but this young Soshnikov is playing on that line now, and he's been a spark plug and a little bit of an agitator and gets some people a little ticked off. You know, a la Darcy Tucker but he scored, and so when you're playing like that, I think Coach Babcock is going to keep that group together. But 3 in a row they've won, and Anderson seems to have settled down a little bit in the nets. But hey, they're fun to watch. That's for darn sure. And I got to give a shout out to the Toronto FC. I'm not a huge soccer fan. I do follow Liverpool over in the Premier League, but Toronto FC is going to play the Montreal Impact in the Eastern Conference Final. So a Canadian team is guaranteed to play in that MLS Championship Cup match. I think that starts in around the 10th of December. That'll be we'll go on in 2 legs aggregate. But Toronto FC against Montreal, those are 2 teams that do not like each other, kind of like the Leafs and the Canadiens, and that's going to be quite a battle. So congratulations to both those teams. Toronto literally dismantled the team from New York. I think they won 5-0 and 7-0 aggregate overall. So very impressive, and the Impact come away with a victory too. So we'll look forward to those 2 teams in a couple of weeks, I think, because they're going to take a little bit of a break because of some international soccer friendlies going on that players have committed to before they continue with the MLS playoffs. And that now brings me to someone asked me one time, hey, what is your favorite sport, Peter? What do you enjoy watching, following the most? And that really is a tough question, but I gotta say that, you know what? I love the Detroit Lions. I'm gonna tell you, I have I have followed that team since 1970. I remember the playoff game against the Dallas Cowboys in 1970, where the Detroit Lions were beaten down in Dallas 5-0. A field goal and a safety. Greg Landry started that game. He was their big rookie quarterback, and we're hanging their hopes on him. And they had my all-time favorite Detroit Lion playing at that time, Charlie Sanders, the late Charlie Sanders, wore number 88. I actually have a Charlie Sanders jersey. I wear it with pride whenever I take in a Lions game, but I'll never forget that. That was they were 1 game away from going to the Super Bowl, but they got a kid from Texas who's a former Georgia Bulldog, number 9 at quarterback, and he is starting. This is his 9th year, I believe, in the league. Matty Stafford, and boy, is he getting it done. All 5 wins. The Lions are 5-4, and all 5 wins for the Lions, I believe, have come in the last 2 minutes of the game. Like, they've pulled out victories. They really are never out of it. And certainly, I can't. Sometimes I can't even watch. I remember the game they played over in England. Their first game when they played over there. Matt Prater went to kick a field goal, and I called my wife into the room, and I said, "Hon, I can't watch. I'm going to stand out in the other room. You tell me what's going to happen." And she goes, "Oh, he missed it." And I went, "Oh." And she's going to hold it. He's getting another chance. And the opposing coach had called timeout. Prater gets a second chance, kicks a field goal. They win. And I just seemed to feel better for 7 days when the Detroit Lions won. Well, in Minnesota, in their brand new stadium. And boy, there's a place, if you're a football fan, you probably want to visit. I've been to Green Bay, Wisconsin 3 times to Lambeau Field, and it's just a beautiful facility. But this Minnesota facility really looks like something special. So that's going to be maybe a tour next year. But back to Matt Stafford. Folks, the Vikings scored with 23 seconds to go in the game, and their team led by 3 points. Looked like the deal was sealed. But goodness gracious, they kick off. Lions start with the ball at their own 25. And in 2 plays, Matt Stafford allows his team, with no timeouts, 23 seconds remaining. I think he hit Seth Roberts on a 27-yard pass completion in the middle of the field. Then had to run all the big offensive linemen, get everybody down there, and get them set so they didn't get a penalty for illegal motion or illegal substitution or a false start. Spiked the ball, 2 seconds left. Prater comes out and whacks a 58-yard bomb dead center to send the game into overtime. And I thought, oh my goodness, well, good for you guys, because when you're a Lions fan, even when you're a Leafs fan, and gosh, you know what, folks, I'm a Philadelphia 76ers fan too, and they haven't won yet this year. You always are worried about impending doom, because it just seems that if something's going to go wrong, it goes wrong to the teams that I cheer for. And I got to tell you, so they win the coin toss, and Matt Stafford in overtime marched that team down the field like he was Bobby Lane, the last quarterback of the Lions to win an NFL championship. Also from Texas, isn't that interesting? But he got it done, and Golden Tate did a little dance on the sideline to stay in bounds and then did a complete flip into the end zone. And I was going crazy. My wife came out and said, listen, be quiet, quit slapping yourself, calm down. I said, honey, the Lions have just won in Minnesota in overtime. Come on, let me enjoy this. So, it's been a pretty good week. Matty Stafford, simply incredible. Folks, on Saturday night, I had the pleasure of going to the Maple City Cagefighting. Our own Jay Smith, Mr. Weekdays, was the ring announcer. He actually let me be the ring announcer the previous time. I had a lot of fun with it, but what a tremendous job he does. And boy, were we ever entertained with 7 bouts. And I was able to get an interview with all of the winners. So we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and talk about this Maple City Cagefighting and the adventures that took place on Saturday night. We will be right back.
Welcome back to CK Sports Talk with 99.1 CKXS. To submit your local sports news, info, or score, email news@ckxsfm.com.
All right, welcome back. Yeah, that was TJ Brody. We did a live interview with TJ, and what a great kid. And I know his Flames struggled. They're off to a bit of a rough start, but boy, there's no better skating defenseman in the NHL than Mr. TJ Brody. That is for sure. So, as I mentioned, Saturday night, had the opportunity to go to the Maple City Cagefighting at the Chatham Banquet Center. And I mean, they set up the octagon in there. They had well over 500 to 600 people packed into the place. It's the old CAW hall for those people that want to reminisce and think about days gone by. But anyhow, it was quite an evening. And if you're a fan of the UFC, then you'd be certainly a fan of Maple City Cagefighting, because you're sitting so close and you can hear the contact. And I'm going to tell you, it is a sport for not the faint of heart. You have to be one tough cookie to get in to the octagon and challenge anybody or stand up. So anyhow, the very first bout featured Kelsey Parrish and DJ Lattiser. DJ, I saw her in making her debut in Maple City Cagefighting 3, I think, and she was again in the octagon, and she was fighting this young gal from Kingsville, Kelsey Parrish, in that bout. And Parrish certainly was quite dominant. In fact, 41 seconds into the bout, it was all over. She was very interesting. And let's take a listen as I had. And I do apologize because you can hear noise in the background, but that's because we're in the auditorium. We're at where the action is. It's not a quiet studio interview. It's the buzz is in the air. So let's see if we can get Kelsey up here. All right, I'm here with Kelsey Parrish. Kelsey, you made your mixed martial arts debut here tonight, and I was just sitting down in my seat, and this one was over. You came out like a house of fire. Was that the game plan?
That was the game plan right from the start. Come out strong, get it done. She had 3 fights. I was making my debut. So you had to be fast, be furious, get it over with.
Well, you certainly were fast and furious, and a tap out, I don't know, was it 35 seconds into this bout?
That definitely was not part of the game plan. I was planning on standing up the whole time. I saw the opportunity and I took it. It paid off, so.
Well, listen, kiddo, congratulations, and you got this crowd fired up as the opening bout here tonight.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a great night.
Can you imagine that? Thank you so much, sir, she called me. Just a delight. I think she's 18 years old, and it was a guillotine chokehold. You might have to YouTube that to see how they locked that one on, but poor DJ had to tap out. Otherwise, your airwaves get cut off. But just her enthusiasm, and she was so excited. As I was catching them leaving the ring, she was high-fiving everybody, and her family and friends were there. So it was certainly an exciting night for Kelsey Parrish of Kingsville. The second bout featured a young gal from Palmerston, Cassandra Hopkins, and she was taking on Windsor's Megan Owen. And again, another bout that didn't last one complete round. In fact, 5 out of the 6 were that. 6 out of the 7 really were that way on the evening. It was really some quick and forceful action. But Windsor's Megan Owen forced Cassandra in a tap out via what's called the arm bar, which is if somebody locks that on you, boy, oh boy, can that be painful. So let's take a listen and hear what Megan Owen had to say. All right, I am here with Megan Owen from the Central Combat Team in Windsor. Woo! Megan, you got your first victory here tonight in a dominating style. You went up against the cage, and once it got to the ground, look out, Scout.
Oh, for sure. I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and I'm definitely going to play my ground game.
Well, was that part of the game plan? You thought as soon as I could get my opponent to the ground, that gives me the greater chance of winning the bout?
For sure. If that's something that I dominate in, I'm really good at wrestling, so it was either going to take her to the ground and be confident then, or take a shot on her and bring her down.
And you had tremendous support here tonight from family and friends.
Yeah, I had a lot of people come out, and I'm very blessed.
Isn't it outstanding? Well, listen, congratulations, and thank you for joining us here on CK Sport Talk.
Thank you so much.
Wow, you can see such polite. These fighters, they get into the ring. Female fighters, they're the first 2 interviews, and very aggressive, but as polite as can be with me, and really a great sound bite after their bite or their bouts, I should say. Now, the third bout featured a Chatham. Joel Elliott was in, and actually I know Joel's dad quite well, and poor Joel's dad was just stirring. It's tough. He said, boy, your kid's in the ring, and he knows how violent that sport can be, so it was tough for him to sit and watch, and he was facing a kid from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Carol St. Helen, and it again was a bout that lasted 1 minute and 11 seconds. The young kid from Sault Ste. Marie, Carol St. Helen, and it was more like Mount St. Helen that night, I'll tell you, because it was pretty explosive. So let's take a listen to what Carol had to say post-fight. All right, Peter Cobb here. I'm with the winner, another blue corner winner. This is Carol St. Helen. He's part of the zoo crew from the Sault Ste. Marie. The Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, the game plan seemed to work tonight.
Yep, lots of training. This is exactly what we did in my training. I executed my game plan, made my angles, got out there, just like another day in training.
A tremendous right hand stunned Mr. Elliott, and you pounced on him in a hurry, and this one was over in less than a minute.
Oh yeah, I was even shocked myself. Like, I threw the right out there. I was like, well, if it lands, it lands, and landed. It was shocked. Like, even if you look at the video playback, I was still like hanging back, like waiting for him to come to me. He went to the cage, and I was like, get on him, get on him.
All right, well, listen, kiddo, congratulations, and it's going to make that ride back to Sault Ste. Marie much nicer.
Thank you so very much. Take care.
Okay, as again, here he is saying take care, and he was quite dominating in the ring. And Joel Elliott, I'm going to tell you, Joel is a feisty young lad, and when you get beat, you learn from those defeats, and he'll suit back up. I think the next Maple City Cagefighting is December the 5th, so you might want to circle that if you're a fan of, I used to be a big boxing fan, but the fight game in boxing just doesn't seem to have the same, I can remember back in the 80s when that middleweight division, lightweight division, welterweight division, Thomas Hearn, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, all those guys, Iran Barkley, those guys, there were 5, 6, 7 guys that you couldn't wait to see in the ring, because they were Roberto Duran, Hands of Stone. They were just so good. All right, so it looks like MMA might have picked up where boxing left off. Anyhow, we're going to take another short break, and then we're going to come back and we'll listen to the final 4 interviews from the night at the Chatham Banquet Center. We will be right back.
Because local does matter. This is CK Sports Talk on 99.1 CKXS.
I love that. Listen to that motorcycle peel out. I want to thank Corey North, our producer. He does all that fancy stuff in the background that makes it sound so good here. My name's Peter Cobb. My partner in crime, Mr. Sean Patrick Moynihan, you know him as the Wizard from Wallaceburg, is on assignment tonight. And I'm talking a little bit, holding the phone here by myself, but talking a little mixed martial arts. We were at the Maple City Cagefighting on Saturday night at the Chatham Banquet Center, the old CAW Hall in Chatham there on Merritt Avenue, and we listened to the first 3 interviews and the final 4 bouts, leading up to the they had a co-main event, and then they, of course, had a double main event, which was very, very exciting. The next bout, bout number 4, I was really interested in because it was kind of unique. I had never seen anything like this before. This is one that was strictly a submission bout. So no physical contact. You just kind of wrestled and tried to get your person into a submission hold where they would have to tap out. And it was 6 minutes in length. And whoever had the most submissions in that 6 minutes would be declared the winner. And it was really interesting to see. There was a young kid by the name of Rob Luciani. I'm not sure where Rob is from, but his opponent was Wallaceburg's own Chad Murphy. And, boy, I'm going to tell you, especially when you hear the interview with Chad, who was the winner, there was only 1 submission in that whole 6 minute. And you can imagine the energy that these two expended over that 6 minute period. It was truly remarkable. But he put him into a rear naked chokehold and made him tap out and managed to hold off and fend off. But Wallaceburg's Chad Murphy was the victor, and let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Peter Cobb here again at Maple City Cagefighting number 4, and I'm here with a victorious Wallaceburg's own.
Great.
My goodness gracious, Chad Murphy. And Chad, that was an interesting bout because it was strictly submissions. But goodness gracious, 6 minutes. It must have felt like 6 hours.
It did. It was a long time. I'm not used to that. No.
And you got the one rear naked chokehold on your opponent, and that's all you needed. You stayed out of trouble. Look at all the fans congratulating you. That's wonderful. You must have trained hard for this.
Actually, I got the call Wednesday night at about 11:30, so came on some short notice.
That's what I call quick preparation. Well, Chad, listen, thank you for joining us on CK Sports Talk, and congratulations.
Thank you, Peter. Appreciate it.
Chad Murphy, I'll tell you, congratulations, Chad. Can you imagine, folks? You're sitting at home. It's 11:30 at night. The phone rings. Chad, we've had somebody drop out. We need you to take part in a bout on Saturday night. Cancel all your plans. Get a couple of days of training in, and boy, it did, and he paid off, and he is a very talented martial arts individual. Someone to watch for, certainly Wallaceburg's own Chad Murphy. Now, the next bout was one of the co-main events, and it featured 2 individuals. One I was familiar with, originally from the North Bay area. The gal's name was Ashina Tilbury, and when I was the ring announcer, she was victorious. I believe she beat DJ Ladisseur in the prior bout that she participated in Maple City Cagefighting 3. But I kidded her. I said, I know why you came down and competed in this, because they've named a town after you just up the road. And she got quite a chuckle over that. But she was taking on a young lady by the name of Andrea Watson. And prior to the bout, one of the individuals involved in the setup, not Thomas Armstrong, but another young lady that was involved in the background helping set up and organize the event, said, watch out for this Andrea Watson. versus a Sheena Tilbury match. These two have a history, and it's going to be very interesting. And Andrea Watson, as I mentioned, from the Kitchener area, she physically built, powerful, and it was really, really interesting. And I got a feeling, folks, after I watched, she won this bout in 46 seconds. And Sheena Tilbury just turned pro. She's going to be working and battling with a company called TKO. So it was incredible and over very quickly. But let's take a listen to the victorious Andrea Watson.
All right, folks, Peter Cobb here again, and we did a pre-fight interview with this young lady from Kitchener, Ontario, Andrea Watson, your very first bout, and my goodness gracious, you were a demon in that ring, kiddo. A couple of big shots and then a rear naked chokehold.
Thank you. I don't know, I was just trying to get it done as quickly as possible, and I did that. So 46 seconds, it's not bad, but I'll be looking to finish the next girl even quicker.
Well, I had a chance to talk to one of the ring promoters, and I understand there aren't too many young ladies that want to get in the ring with you, and I fully understand why. My goodness.
That's very true. I'm from Kitchener, Ontario. It's been pretty much impossible to get women in Canada, particularly Ontario, to accept fights with me. I've had to look at girls across the border, but even still, they look at my World Muay Thai Championship and they don't want to fight me in MMA.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm looking for a bodyguard, kiddo. You're all that and more. Congratulations, Andrea.
Thank you so much. You're the best. I love you.
I mean, how polite, eh? She said I was the best and told me she loved me, so all I did was an interview. Good gracious. But I'm going to tell you what, remember the name Andrea Watson. Who knows, she could be the next Ronda Rousey. Really exciting. The next bout was also kind of a co-main event too. It featured a kid from Chatham who held the Maple City featherweight, or I should say lightweight title. And they have belts, just like, the WWE has belts and boxers have belts and the UFC have belts. They had two title bouts on the line where belts were involved. And there was a young kid from Sarnia, Ontario, Jesse Huizinga, and he won that title, and it was probably one of the more exciting bouts of the night. It went the distance, one of those rare fights that goes 5 rounds, and each fighter gave it their all. And you could see after the bout was over and the winner, Jesse Huizinga, the respect that these two fighters had for each other. I was really impressed with the class of Steve Eldridge, who had lost the title and turned it over to Jesse Huizinga. Let's take a listen to what Jesse had to say.
All right, Peter Cobb here with the new champion, Jesse Huizinga from Sarnia, Ontario. And I got to tell you, you talk about the bout of the night. All the other bouts, all 5 of them have gone in the first round. Yours went 5 rounds, 3 minutes each. I'm going to tell you, that was a tremendous bout. What are your thoughts?
Oh, thanks. It was a great time. Steve's a really talented guy, and it was a really hard fight. I knew it would be coming in, so put in the work, and we were ready for it. And, it's a good time. Really glad.
Outstanding. And listen, training. When you train, when you go 5 rounds, that's 15 minutes, folks, and there's tremendous energy that is expended. That's all got to come into your training too, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We do rounds upon rounds upon rounds in training, but it's so hard to simulate that adrenaline burn you get. You can never really be ready for it. You just got to prepare as much as you can and go from there. So it's good.
Awesome. Jesse, and how long have you been involved in mixed martial arts now?
I've been competing for about 5 years now, so it's nice to finally have a belt for it,
I was going to say, it certainly paid off here tonight. You had a tremendous following from people that came from Sarnia down here to Chatham.
Absolutely. A lot of friends and family from all over the place. It's nice to have that support. It makes a big difference when you're in there. You can hear all your friends and family around.
Well, congratulations and thanks for joining us here on CK Sports Talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a great kid, and I had a chance to talk to him even after off mic. he almost sounds like a rocket science professor. He is so well spoken and articulate, and yet here he is in the octagon. He lets his feet and hands do all the talking there. It really was something. Well, our final bout featured a young fella by the name of Mike Latvinen, and he was fighting a kid that came from Dublin, Ireland, 4 years ago, came over here to Canada looking for employment opportunities, Shane Monahan. And, oh, my goodness, Shane Monahan is another name that you want to keep an eye out for, because he looks like he's going places. And I thoroughly enjoyed this interview. I just love that Irish accent. Let's listen to Shane Monahan.
All right, I did a pre-bout interview a couple hours ago, and here I am with the featherweight champion, Shane Monahan, and Shane from Dublin, Ireland. What county in Ireland?
Originally from Dublin, and I moved to County Carlow for another 14 years. So I was there maybe 7 in the country and a couple more in the big city. So I'm from the big city, make no mistake about it. That's where I'm from.
Now, I watched that bout, and
Did you blink?
I'm going to tell you, the knee that you gave, I felt it 40 rows back.
Yeah,
incredible.
He felt it too, because I could feel the wind go out of him there. He let a little bit of a sigh, and I knew I was on there. I think the kick to the body started the whole proceedings, and after that I was just working some nice 1-2s, caught him there. I think he started to bleed profusely from the mouth there. I don't know whether that was obstructing his breathing or something. And then that knee, that bomb at the end, I said it earlier on, there's a bomb going to go off, and that was it.
Well, that was an Irish car bomb, I'm going to tell you. And
just people at home with messages on their phone, they will be able to bring them to the front and show them. I said that maybe 6 or 7 hours ago. A bomb will go off, and don't blink. And I'm sure there was a lot of people watching on the live stream there. So I'm happy. That's two-weight champion. I've worked hard all year. I've had nearly, if you average it out, it was a fight every month and a half. Four of those got cancelled, so I've had a busy year. And my last fight was, as I said, 5 weeks ago. And now we're back tonight. And you know what? December 5th, I think, I'll be back in the cage again in London, I'd imagine.
I was going to say, your fans are wondering what's next for Shane. So it looks like December the 5th. We'll circle that date.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't take any damage in that. My body's a little bit, a small bit light right now. So, you know what? I'll probably go back down to 135 now, and maybe there might be another title in December at 135. So, yeah, just stay tuned.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, you put on quite a display here tonight. Congratulations, and thank you for joining us here on CK Sports Talk.
Pleasure to have me. Thank you.
And there you have it, Shane Monahan, the flyweight champion. He's looking to win another belt in a different weight class. Isn't that something? That was really entertaining. December the 5th, I believe, is the next Maple City Cagefighting number 5. You want to circle that date on your calendar. I'll be there, and we can share a thought or two on if you make an appearance too. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure to be with you on the airwaves tonight. I certainly miss my partner in crime, and I'm thinking about him, but he tending to some personal business. And next Monday, we are going to we had a chance to sit down and talk with Sean Sweezum, and we're going to air that next Monday night. And then 2 weeks from tonight, Rebecca Reimer will join us live in studio. And we're really looking forward to that. So, anyhow, for my partner in crime, Mr. Sean Patrick Moynihan, for my producer, Mr. Corey North, who'll be heading south to Ridgetown, that is, my name is Peter Cobb, saying so long.
Thanks for listening to CK Sports Talk. Tonight's show is brought to you by Canada Business Services, the Chatham-Kent Sports Network, and 99.1 CKXS. For more local sports news and information, log on to the Chatham-Kent Sports Network at cksn.ca.
99.1